One.
Thank you for tuning in to the Left Right Pair of Guys podcast. You're listening to Rob and Danny. Say hello, Rob.
Hello.
Aye, that's Rob. He's a good laddie. And I'm Danny. You're listening to the Left Right.
I did a bad job, but you know what? I think we tricked some people.
Oh, yeah.
I think they think you're really here, and that you're really Scottish, or that you're really me,
Oh,
and that I'm really Scottish. But
well, as long as we fooled a few people, I'm all
you
right
can't
with that.
fool everyone. Some of the
Aye,
time,
can't fool
you can
everyone all the
fool.
time.
You can fool it. What some of the people some of the time, you can fool all of the people some of the time. You can't fool all the people all the time.
And you can fool some of the people all of the time.
All of
And
them.
that's why we're in this bloody mess, aren't we? Because some people believe
Right.
every fucking thing that the fucking television tells them, right? Isn't that right? And
Aye.
that's why we're in this mess. They wear
Yeah.
their bloody mask, and now they're telling them to put on two masks at the same time. What kind of bloody idiocy is that?
Have you seen any double maskers yet?
I haven't seen any, but I reckon
I
it's
have.
only a matter of time. As soon as
Immediately.
somebody says it, you
Immediately.
know there's going to be people going out there and doing it.
Immediately after I saw two people, no, like three or four people with a mask. And I was like, that's really sad that they would be like that. That's really sad. Sorry, I had to take off my mask. It's really sad that they would do that to themselves and to their kids. It's child abuse.
Well, that never stopped them.
So why don't you tell us where you are?
Where I am, I'm on the high moors of Ben Nevis in Scotland, looking out over the Scottish countryside. Keeping watch over my sheep.
That's that down in Florida.
Aye, well, yeah. Hey, by Scotland I mean Florida in the United States.
Scotland,
That's what I
Florida.
meant.
Glasgow, Florida.
Glasgow, Florida. That's right.
That's right.
Staring out at the beach over the ocean from a mangrove forest. You ever been to a mangrove forest? It's really weird. You've got trees and the roots are above the ground.
I didn't try to get exposure to something like mangroves very often. It's not becoming of a manly thing.
Oh. All right, so let's get into the meat of the discussion. What are we talking about today?
I wanted
Occupy
to
Wall Street, right?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the right redux of um, Occupy Wall Street, because we have landed in a very strange situation, um, because of some Redditors, some cheeky Redditors, um, who decided to sort of squeeze the shorts on some like unloved stocks, unpopular stocks, GameStop and AMC, and then they're doing BlackBerry and they're doing Nokia. And that's just like, these people short things because they expect them to go down. And these hedge funds tend to like go crazy and short and like, try to destroy stocks that might actually recover eventually if it weren't for these predatory practices. I almost said predatory lending practices. What am I thinking? But yeah, it's called short selling, and it it doesn't really provide any value to anyone's life or any stocks, or yeah, just our country in general. Um, so it's actually really good in my mind. It might seem like it's anti-free market or something, but it's to me, I'm really happy that the little guy has fought back in this way. And so, you know, a bunch of Redditors got together and decided to squeeze those shorts. And you can do that just by keeping the price above a certain level for a certain period of time, in order to make it so that the people who've done this short sell, they're going to get their margin called, and they're going to have to buy it back at a higher price than what they paid. So it's pretty hilarious and excellent that this is happening. Do you have any comments on it yourself?
Well, I mean, I like it, but I don't see how it's really going to change much. I mean, they can target one company at a time. And then if everybody puts their money, first of all, what happens to the money that people put into this? It seems like it's just from an investment standpoint, it's a bad investment. Like, you're gonna lose your money if you do this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's gratifying to bring an evil corporation down with you, but if we're losing money by doing this, then it's not sustainable. And maybe we can take down a few companies like this, a few hedge funds, and make a few of them hurt. But in the long run, how is this going to bring down the Wall Street beast?
Well, like, as is common in our show, I almost completely disagree with you. This is the most genius way that the common man has come up with to fight these companies. There's real damage being done. They lost $80 billion, and people have made tons and tons of money on this. So I don't know if you've really researched this, Danny. Like, this is a real transfer of wealth to the small investor. When they have to cover those margin calls, the money will end up in the laps of these people. It's just a fact. I don't know what you're not understanding here.
I guess I'm not understanding how. First of all, let's say you take out a few hedge funds like this. Doesn't that mean that their competitors are just gonna gobble up the market? I mean, if you take down Coke, then that just means Pepsi is going to capture the market. You're not taking down corporate America. You're just making a few companies hurt or go bankrupt. But I don't see how this is going to destroy the beast in general.
Well, first, it's an example, number one. And I don't understand your attitude of saying it's like, this isn't going to do anything. That's just not giving credit where credit is due, dude. This is obviously it's hurting the big guy. 80 billion. They've lost $80 billion, Melvin Capital, and there were other hedge funds that were hurt too, like Citadel. Citadel has shorts in these companies, and it shows them that they can't just destroy businesses. They can't just decide to pick losers and drive them into the ground like they've been doing anymore.
Right.
So Citadel is actually tied in with Robinhood, who is the exchange for like the common man, small investors, where you can buy stocks at zero fees. And this is where a lot of that activity from the Reddit people has been occurring. They've been just buying this stock like crazy. And I bought some too. I bought all 4 of the main stocks they focused on Friday. I wanted to buy on Thursday, but I wasn't allowed to buy those stocks because they illegally, in my opinion, they shut down trading on those stocks in order to cover their Citadel, one of their biggest investors. And we also found out in this process that Robinhood is using their platform. They're giving free trades because they're gathering data on small investors so that they can tell hedge funds what to do, so they can steal more of the small investors' money. So generally what they do is they pump up stocks on the news, CNBC, and then they you know, get a ton of people to invest in them, and then they short them, you know. So actually, usually with the short sell, they just totally say this business is going under, and then they sell it, you know, like crazy, and they short sell it with a stock they don't own. So they borrow the stock and sell it, and then they have to buy it back cheaper
Right.
and give it.
I know how that works.
Yeah.
But you're not answering my question, which is, if we take out a few companies this way, doesn't that just mean that their competitors are going to just have more of an advantage? You know, if Melvin Capital goes bankrupt, then doesn't what's another weird name? Archibald Capital. Doesn't that just mean that they're going to take over the market that Melvin Capital
No,
is?
we're taking over the market. MFer, we're taking it over. What are you talking about?
But we're taking it over by accumulating stocks in companies that don't have much of a future.
What are you talking about? We like the stock, Danny. We like the stock. Learn why we like the stock.
What stock? GameStop?
We like the stock. Yeah, we like AMC. We like GameStop. They're good stocks.
But
good companies.
But the companies are going out of business.
A great service. No, they're not. They're not going to go out of business. They're going to come back.
Well, the whole reason why people were shorting them in the first place is because they were going out.
No, is because they orchestrated it with the coronavirus scam.
But wasn't GameStop going out of business just because people are playing games online and not going to
right, exactly. Yeah, but some people actually like to go to the store and buy things.
Right, some people do, but in general, the trend in society was towards digital.
That's a manufactured trend that these short sellers have accelerated prematurely. And in collusion with the people carrying out the scamdemic.
But it was going down before the scamdemic, wasn't it?
Not nearly as much as when the scamdemic hit.
Right, but it was still on a downward trajectory. It was kind of like Blockbuster, you know, people just don't rent videos anymore. So, and people just generally are not going to purchase physical video games anymore. So that's a trend that predated the scamdemic. And I just don't see how that is going to be reversed now. Like, it just seems that everybody has now put their money in a stock that is ultimately unsustainable.
No, they were not actually that bad of stocks, and we can you're just agreeing with their premise. You're agreeing with the premise of these evil companies. You're agreeing, or hedge funds. That's the premise, yes, but it's a false premise and a manufactured premise that's contingent on the scamdemic.
Well, I can appreciate that this development has very good implications for targeting the worst companies. Like, for instance, if a company does something really, really shitty, then this enables us to target that company and take it down. So that's a good development.
Right. It's a statement. It's a financial protest. And they're going to think twice. Now all the hedge funds are going to think twice before they short sell all these stocks just for the sake of, you know, evolution or natural selection, saying, oh, they were going to die anyway. I'm just, you know, capitalizing on the decline.
All right. So, yeah, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm just a little skeptical about the how widely it can be generalized. You know, that's all I'm saying.
How widely? Oh, whether it can be repeated? Well, no, and it won't be repeated because they're going to think twice about it. They're going to have to strategize. They're going to have to reconstitute or regroup themselves, they had to shut down people's ability to trade in order to reposition themselves. And now that they've done that, it's kind of like the election. Now that they've screwed the pooch and like gone through with it and boldly showed that they, you know, will break the law when they lose control, they're going to get sued. Like, people won't stand for that. Eventually, there's going to be enough awareness that it's not even going to be a question whether there's justice. It's over, man. It's game over.
Well, the most interesting part is how governments are responding, because they're now calling this financial terrorism.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they react, whose side they're going to be on. It'll show us, who do they work for? Do they work for Wall Street or do they work for us? The answer.
Dude, I am so confused.
And they're already saying that all of these people who participated in this are a bunch of white nationalists and white supremacists and bigots and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, they already conflated it together, and I think that's how they can sort of control the narrative and stay ahead of the narrative. Just like with when Hillary Clinton started to talk about Alex Jones, I was like, well, that's dumb. That's going to cause a Streisand effect. But they actually hedged their bets properly. Speaking of hedging, they hedged their bets properly on that call as well, because now the people who are already in that percentage who will never wake up from the lie of the New World Order, they are they're pre-programmed to dismiss anybody who talks about InfoWars as a conspiracy theorist. So the same is going to be with this. They're going to be like, oh, you bought GameStop. You're one of those alt-right, you know, pay people.
Puppy, come here. Come here. Puppy, come. No, puppy. Puppy, come here. They're good. Come on.
Get your dog in order, boy. So what was I saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? That's why they're doing that. It's just easy. It's too easy to sort of control the narrative that way. It's too tempting. But yeah, I'm really surprised at you, honestly, that you're gonna like just crap all over. Like this to me is like the biggest story of the left and the right uniting.
I'm not crapping all over it.
You are.
I'm expressing skepticism about the long-term viability of the strategy. I'm not crapping all over it.
This is like way better than Occupy Wall Street circa
Okay.
2008.
Isn't like some Republican group going physically to Wall Street now?
Right. I'm gonna try and find that young Republican group going to Wall Street. They reignited the Occupy Wall Street. And I bet you they won't leave it in shambles.
Maybe they should.
I'm pretty sure, you know, that's the problem. Like this Marxist talk and all this, like, it's really jingoism, honestly. I know that usually applies to righties. All this jingo Marxist crap of like, you know, oh, they're rich and we're poor, and that's that. this is like, this is demonstrative of real corruption, that Robinhood would shut out small traders. Do you understand? And that's why it wins over people like me. But like, that's like predatory. That is anti-free market.
Right. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
But here's the direction that I would take it. I say, how does this surprise you when you have people accumulating so much wealth? How does it surprise you when they abuse it to accumulate more? Do you not expect this?
No,
If
but
you have billionaires,
that's like saying, why are you surprised that they stole the election? And my answer is that they did it so brazenly, that they like, it was so obvious, and so many people are able to now testify that it happened. That is, it's surprising. It's
it's not
astounding.
surprising to me because as long as you have people accumulating that much wealth, they're going to use it to corrupt every facet of our society, including our elections. If you have billionaires, the billionaires are going to use their billions to buy elections and to buy the machines and reprogram them. It's a natural progression of allowing power consolidation. If you allow billionaires, you're going to be subsequently allowing the corruption of every aspect of your society.
Allow billionaires.
Billionaires
So you're
lead to
saying you
corruption.
shouldn't allow someone to accumulate $1 billion. You should cap someone's wealth.
It's not necessarily capping it. It's about examining the system that you're using that's allowing such consolidation in the first place. The problem is in
Does that
this.
make you a capitalist?
No, I'm not a capitalist.
Because you're capping their wealth. All right, sorry, finish your point.
um, if you allow billionaires, you are by definition asking for your society to be corrupted in every way possible. And the problem is not a lack of
I don't
capping
understand. You're
wealth.
saying allow, like, if you shouldn't allow billionaires. I'm hearing
No,
that.
no.
That's
Now
so,
you're going to say, does that mean that we should just, go in and take their money? Well, not exactly. Taking their money is a band-aid at most. The real solution is you have to look at the system that you have, how your economic system is constructed that leads to such accumulation in the first place. Because that wealth that they've accumulated, that's other people's labor. What enabled them to accumulate the fruits of other people's labor to where those people who actually did the labor didn't get to accumulate their own labor's fruits? That's the
no,
problem.
this
The
is
problem is in
different.
the
This is
construction of the system.
literally, this is holding someone at gunpoint and saying, like, you cannot buy this. They're saying you have no, we are not allowing, you're not playing by the same rules. Like,
You're
it's
talking about
okay if
Robin Hood?
everyone's playing by the same rules, but
Are
they're,
you talking about Robin Hood?
yeah, Robin Hood and Citadel and
Yeah,
the
that's
other, yeah, TD Ameritrade, who like shut people out of buying this stock on
yeah,
Thursday.
and that's bad and it's illegal and somebody should go to jail over it. But I'm just saying, like, I can't believe that it surprises you. That's all I'm saying.
What surprised me is it's a app called Robinhood that's saying bringing power to the people. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's a it's anathema to their mission statement.
Right?
So it's
And
supposed to be empowering.
cheating in elections is anathema to the purpose of an election. Uh, Using vaccines to make people sick is anathema to the purpose of medicine. But that doesn't stop them from doing it, and they do it because they can. And as long as you let them can, they're gonna.
Mhm.
And we ask for this when we allow them to accumulate the ability to can.
You do realize that they're opening up a congressional investigation of this because of what Robinhood did. You do realize that, right? And you
And the
do realize
Republicans
that Ted
and the
Cruz
Democrats,
retweeted AOC.
I know. And they're gonna posture themselves and they're gonna puff up their chest and say, "This is unacceptable. I can't believe this." And that's their job. Their job is to give us the impression that they are indignant about it and they're going to do something about it. And they're doing their job well. They're doing their job. They're making us think that now finally Congress is going to start regulating Wall Street and sending people to jail and there's going to be finally accountability. That's their job, not to hold them accountable, but to make us think that they're going to hold them accountable. And they're doing that job very well, but they're not going to hold them accountable. They might make an example out of a few people. You know, they might have a
You're
few
not giving.
tattoos.
This is like so hilarious to me. This is a former progressive, still somewhat progressive, admitting that the people don't have power, but the people are now organizing and actually agreeing on a way to fight the system. And you're going to sit here and disempower us. That's really funny to me.
How am I disempowering you?
You're saying that it's not going to amount to anything. You're naysaying.
I no,
Some
I'm
guy,
asking.
some guy
I'm
bought. All right,
seeing.
I'm telling you what's happening. Some guy in Germany just bought uh, a billboard to put in the middle of Times Square, and it says GME go brr, and brr is like is someone cranking out money in a money machine. So that, I mean, and it has stocks. It's you're not giving this any credit, dude.
I guess okay. So how
You
about
should be
this?
monitoring this situation in real time. You should be
I
watching.
am.
You should be eating and breathing and sleeping this story right now,
Puppy, come here.
like I
I
am.
know. I am. So let's talk about where
I
it
think
goes
you
then.
are.
So where do you think this is going to go? How do you think it's going to play out? How does it get bigger?
The Reddit group has 6 million people. It was at like less than a million just a week or two ago.
Okay.
It
So
doubled
give
and
me
tripled.
give me a hypothetical scenario of where you see this going. Where's it going to be at, like, let's say a month from now?
It'll at least get as much done as Occupy Wall Street. It will always be a point of reference for people to look to and talk about. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Uh, Best case scenario, it raises awareness and creates regulations on, or I mean, the regulations already exist. But penalizes Robinhood and other exchanges um, for breaking the law and stopping small investors, and it might open up more opportunities and less regulation on small investors as a token of like acknowledgement that we have as much right as Wall Street to play the game. And they might even take off scrutiny from us. But mid case scenario, they do introduce some regulations to small investors, you know, but they also sort of punish Robinhood for what they did, so it'll like bite both ways. I don't know. But yeah, actually, I guess the worst case scenario would be that they completely block small investors from investing again, which they could very well do. But I don't think that's going to happen because there's too much attention on it, Danny. The public outrage. It seems like you don't understand how the world works. The public outrage controls the narrative, controls the outcome of these situations. It's like the court of public opinion. Who do you think is winning in the court of public opinion right now? Robinhood or Wall Street bets?
Well, it's certainly exposing some of the malfeasance, and that's a good thing. I'm not against this. I'm not against what you're doing. I'm not against what the Redditors are doing. I cheer them on. I'm looking into the long term and I'm asking where does this lead in the long term? Is this going to be enough to bring about some real change? what percentage of companies on Wall Street is this going to hurt? You know, if there are 10,000 companies on Wall Street and this hurts 100 of them, okay, well, then that hurts 1% of the companies on Wall Street, but that's not really taking down the system. So I just want to know what, what's the long-term game plan here?
Can you elaborate? Because I gotta check on the door real quick with my daughter. Just sort of elaborate. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm coming at this from the perspective that the problem is not that the majority of people have been cheated in the game or unable to play the game, or that the game isn't fair. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the game itself is the problem. Why do we even have a stock market? Why do we even have these trades in the first place? How does this benefit society? How does it benefit society to
So that you
have
can,
a
so
Wall
that
Street?
small groups of people or small investors can invest in something that can organize and build a company. You silly lefty.
Right, but are we asking whether these companies need to be built? Are they actually doing
That's
something
so stupid.
positive for society?
Who would decide that? Who would decide that?
I'm not deciding it. I'm
No,
just
but you're
asking.
saying, are we asking? Are you saying like the communitariat is going to decide what companies are viable? That's going to lead to more corruption.
That's not what I said.
Communist.
I'm asking what's the point of a stock market? It seems like it's just a fancy way to
Just
gamble. And
no.
gambling doesn't do anything positive for
It
society.
helps grow your country.
How
Ramona?
does this,
No.
if you believe in a company and you like what it's doing and you want it to grow because you believe in it, then you can simply call the company up and say, "Hey, I've got some money. Here's my money. Uh, grow with it, and then pay me back later when you grow." You don't need a stock market to do that. You can just literally call the company up on the phone. Like if there's a company that's making what do you like? Uh some grass-fed beef, let's say. You're into grass-fed beef. So there's a company that's making grass-fed beef and treating their cows really well up until the moment that they slit their throats, of course, but up until that moment they're treating them well, and you believe in that company and you want it to grow. What's stopping you from just calling up the company and saying, "Hey, here's a grand, here's 10 grand, here's 100 grand, grow with it and then pay me back later when you've grown"? You don't need Wall Street to do that. So I'm wondering, what service does Wall Street provide for our society? Why does it need to exist?
As long as everybody can participate, then you can invest in things that you believe will grow, and then you can profit from that. That's good. Do you know the parable of the talents?
No.
Okay, let's read. I'm going to read you a story from the Bible.
Ooh, the Bible.
The parable of the talents. Okay.
Okay.
You're supposed to use your money to grow things.
Good things.
Okay. Here we go. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them to them his property. This is Yeshua speaking, Christ. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into outer darkness, in that place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So there you go. You're just, if you just hoard all your money and don't do anything with it, and don't spread the love around to other businesses and other people who can do good things with it that you like I like the stock. I really do. I think that it's a good stock and it shouldn't go away. I like movies. I've spent a lot of money at movies. I've made a lot of money off of GameStop because I buy their games cheap and I sell them online. So I especially like GameStop. So it's a good stock. And I'm investing in it because I like it.
Okay. So then what would be okay.
And
So
other people get to draw. Other people get to draw and earn because of my investment in it. It's a way of charity. So if you all pull together and buy a stock and you raise the stock to like $400 and it creates a siphon, like a vertical siphon of their shorts pouring in to pump the stock up and cover their shorts, to cover the original short at a higher price than they paid in, that's taking money from the rich and giving to the poor. How can you not appreciate that? You're crazy.
I do appreciate taking money from the rich and giving to the poor.
I don't think you understand what's happening.
I'm just asking how far this effect can reach. That's all I'm asking.
It's already had more effect than anything the progressive liberals have done. Anything. All they do is cancel people for racial
Puppy, come here.
like
Come here.
lies about racial
here.
disparities. These are all white kids who either lost their jobs in 2008, in this housing crash, or
Oh, you're a good boy, ain't you?
Girl.
That's mostly who this is. This is mostly white men like me and poor white men and poor white teens, and some of them are like already in the millions though. They definitely made a bunch of millionaires, but now there's going to be a bunch of millionaires who care about people who are worse off than them and who've been in that situation. Nouveau riche. That's what you need. You need a bunch of rich people who actually, want to create these situations and encourage people to empower themselves using their own money and their own resources to earn a lot.
Okay, well, if it empowers the little guy against the rich, then it's a good thing.
Right.
See where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know how it could be negative in any way. This is
I didn't
brilliant.
say it's negative. The only
Brilliant.
Again, the only thing there's two skeptical things that I have about it. One is how far it can go, and the other is whether it's getting close enough to the root of the problem. I like to tackle problems at their roots in the systems that lead to them in the first place. And I see the entire Wall Street system as the root of the problem. And I think that while this may give us a feel-good story, a good reprieve, and it might temporarily hold back the legions of the enemy, and it might give us a victory for a while, ultimately, we have to look at the roots of the problem, which is the system itself. As long as you have rich people who have thousands or millions of times more wealth than everybody else, they're going to use that wealth to accumulate more wealth and more power, and they're going to use it to game the system, and they're going to find a way to counter this. Every weapon that's ever developed, somebody develops a piece of armor to counter that weapon, and vice versa. They're going to find a way.
So we should just never fight. We should just accept our place.
We should look
That's
at
exactly
the roots
what
of the
they
problem.
want. This is exactly what the feudalist
words in my mouth. We should look
overlords
at
want.
the roots of the problem.
Everything you just said is like exactly what the overlords want. They want us to just accept our place.
How does addressing the problem at its root equate to just giving up and letting them do
if you address the problem at its root like you want to, you're going to create another kind of tyranny. If you just say you can't have that, off with his head, off to the gallows, and you know, create a Jacobin revolution, you're going to create the same problem. You'll be just like the pigs in the house.
Don't
in Animal Farm.
Words in my mouth. I didn't say to behead anybody. I didn't say to take things away from people. Actually, the current system, the reason it is the way it is because people are currently taking things away from people. When you do work, if you work for a corporation, the corporation is siphoning off your labor. They're taking the fruits of your labor and accumulating it for themselves. They are taking from you. I want to stop people from taking from others. I don't want to take from people. I want to stop people from taking from others.
That's ridiculous. Like your whole like the company, if they buy property with the fruits of someone else's labor, then the people deserve the some share in the property. That's so
everyone
ridiculous.
Who contributed to building something deserves a share in the thing that they built.
This is
common
the problem
sense.
right here.
This
Marxism. You're brainwashed.
Build with your hands. What you build with your hands should be yours.
They gave them the monetary equivalent of that already. They said, I will pay you this much dollars per hour of your work.
Puppy, be nice.
It's called a contract. Danny, it's called a contract. You understand? It's an agreement.
Yes,
you
but
can't
if you're coerced into signing a contract, then it's not really a free agreement, is it? Like
what makes it coercion?
With my hands, if I want to labor under the sun and grow my food by the sweat of my brow, and somebody comes along and says, you can't do that, you need to pay me your rent. I'm not gonna plant any of this food. You're still gonna plant it, but you need to now give me let me siphon off a portion of the food that you grow. That's coercion. And if I sign a contract in order to enable that, well, maybe I signed it because I had no choice. I have to earn some kind of living, and this guy controls the means of production. So he makes me sign that contract, or else I'm literally going to starve.
The reason is because you can't take somebody else's hard-earned land and work.
But nobody earns land.
Yes,
God
they did, because they purchased the land with their own
somebody else's labor. They siphoned off the fruits of one set of workers and used that to buy land to siphon off the next set of workers.
Danny, the person who's doing the labor can use the money to buy their own land.
Bought with that wealth.
Go and look up. You can buy tons of land in the Midwest easily with your hard-earned money.
What if I don't want to buy land? What if I just want to plant and harvest and
then
live
you
by
have
the
to do it
sweat of
on
my
somebody's
brow?
land. You can't
It's
just,
not somebody's. If there's a tract of 1,000,000 acres, that doesn't belong to somebody. Just because you have a piece of paper that says it belongs to you, it doesn't belong to you.
then
That's
everybody
God's
else will
land.
be
God
fighting,
made it.
Danny. If then
You
everybody
claim
else
to
will
be a
be fighting.
Christian,
What if
and
someone
yet
else
you think
comes
that you
over
can
and
own
says,
something that God created.
what if someone comes to you to that land and applies the same philosophy as you and says, you don't own this land. I'm going to tear up your beets and I'm going to plant something with less oxalate.
I'm not talking about
I'm going to
tearing
come
up
and
somebody.
I'm going to come and pull your
Talking
beets out.
about planting
And
on
no, you don't have a right
unused
to that
farmland.
land, Danny. You don't have a right to that land. This is not your field. I have as much right to it as you. I'm going to take
Nope.
up all your
If
spinach
I work
and
and
collard
I labor by the
greens.
sweat of my brow, I don't owe you shit. And if you take my labor, then you are siphoning off the fruits of my labor. That is communism, not capitalism.
What if you were like about to plant somewhere and then somebody just starts planting like right 2 feet away from you where you were headed?
Good for
Plant.
him. I'll move 2 feet away.
And what if he takes up all the land? What if he brings all his friends and takes up that whole spot?
Then I'll
Is that
find another
fair?
spot.
Is that fair?
Then I'll find another spot.
It's not fair. That's the point. You need to have rules
No,
that
if
are
somebody is
enforced.
already planting on some land, then I'll find another spot. There's nothing
You need to
unfair
have
about that.
rules so that people will not get in fist fights over little patches of land and disagreements like that. We need elbow room to get along.
Here's the rule. If somebody is planting already, don't plant there. Find another spot.
Why? He has every bit of right as you. You were just lucky because you found a good place to plant. He has as much right as you to plant in that spot.
Right. So he should move over a few feet and plant there.
He could
If someone
steal your whole endeavor. Your labor of finding that plot of land is yours. You searched and you put time and resources and energy into that travel and that scouting operation. So your position's completely untenable. You can't just take somebody's stuff. You can't just be like that. I like your dog.
taking
I'm gonna
stuff
take
is what you're saying you want to do. If I plant and harvest, you want to take my harvest.
No, I would have to buy it from you.
No,
It,
you're saying that I would owe you 50% of everything I harvest. Why? Fuck off. I grew it. Fuck off.
if it's my land and that was the
It's
agreement,
not your land.
right? And this is where you're brainwashed and you're never going to recover. Like
God made it.
you're
You can't
hopelessly.
own something that you didn't create. Nobody
That's
created
rich.
it.
That's rich because it's Marxist ideology is atheistic. So this is really
Marxism. This is the
weird.
way
Oh,
it's been
okay,
for
so you're gonna use
40,000
God
years.
against me.
For the entire history of humankind, nobody has had the idea that they can just own the planet, and everybody who lives on the planet has to owe them a rent for using the planet that they didn't even fucking create. That idea is new.
That's completely ridiculous because
That's a new
Native
idea.
Americans have herds that they follow and land that they respect, territories that they respect. So even in your idyllic view
By
of
tribe. They have
the
tribal
primitive
territories
people,
with
which I
tribes.
share, they
Tribal
believe
territory is not the same thing as siphoning off the fruits of somebody else's labor. Like there was no Indian that said, okay, if you hunt a
yeah, they would
buffalo
say
in
like you
this
can
mountain,
hunt
I deserve
on
half of the
my
buffalo.
land as long as you give me some of what you catch. They would do that. That's what they would do.
No, they didn't.
I am 100% sure
And
that
if
that
they
has
did,
happened.
that's wrong.
No, it's not. If that's the agreement, an agreement is an agreement.
But if you're coerced, then it's not a real agreement. Just like if you agree that if you want to shop at this store, you have to have a vaccine, well, that's not a real agreement because it's under duress.
All right, let's change the subject for a while. What do you think about the plan right now? Let's just do a little bit of the plan. And you tell me, do you think we're gonna have Donald Trump as the 18th president of the United States, or is he the 19th?
19th.
Okay. Are we gonna get that? Are we gonna do this or what?
Well, tomorrow is supposedly Freedom Day. Tomorrow is
Right.
done
Tell
in
me about
30
Freedom
from the
Day.
date of Flynn's interview. So everything is lining up and everything is pointing to tomorrow, the 31st. So it lines up beautifully.
Wait, which
But
interview? Oh, Michael Flynn is doing an interview with what? With who?
no, he did an interview on December 31st where he said, "Give me 30 more days." Remember?
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So 30 more days from that is tomorrow. And then
Nice.
also tomorrow is the day after the 10 days of darkness, if you count Biden's inauguration as the
Actually,
start of the
today
10
would
days.
be the 30th day. But anyway.
Well,
that's okay.
10 full days would end today, and then tomorrow would be the 11th day. So everything lines up for tomorrow, but we both know nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It lines up beautifully on
I
paper,
didn't say that. I have faith.
but nothing's going to happen.
I have some faith. I'll give it 17%.
Did you see that video where he's like 17, 17, we have 17, 17, 17.
Yeah, I did, yeah. But I want to mention to the audience, another thing you can do to join this movement is buy Doge, which might be a good idea or not. I'm not a financial advisor. I did buy though, and it went up like 3x from where I bought it, but I didn't take profit because I was trying to be true to the movement, which wanted to get Doge to $1, but a bunch of people, just took profit, or it's getting shorted. Like that's the thing. Even with something like Doge, there's people who can short Doge. Like you can buy paper Doge. You could buy stocks. This I would agree with you. You shouldn't be allowed to buy a stock if you don't actually own the physical asset. You shouldn't be able to trade something you don't actually own. That's what they're doing, Danny. I don't know if you know that, but
Right, I know.
that's what that we can all agree on. That's the problem. I think if we had removed all that, you would love the stock market. You would probably get involved if we had a pure stock market that wasn't predatory and unfair. So let's see. I'm looking through Ghost Ezra's account here, and it's pretty fun. He has a lot of trolls. Hey, what do you think about the anal COVID tests? It's happening. Tell me that joke you made as Fauci several times. What does Fauci want us to do to avoid coronavirus?
Well, I didn't
apply it?
make that joke up. That was a meme.
Oh, it was to stick your thumb up your butt.
Yeah, if Fauci said that you can prevent COVID by walking around with one finger in your anus at all times, everybody would be doing it. And it's true.
Finally happening.
Everybody would be doing it.
This video of this guy sticking a swab in a mannequin's butthole was pretty funny. Uh-oh. All right, he's got Wall Street bets. Ghost Ezra says, POTUS is running crap behind the scenes. LOL, I love it. And he shared a Ghost Ezra tweet from January 31st, 2012. And what Wall Street Bets was created on January 31st, 2012. And it said, his tweet from January 31st, 2012 was, the banks need to start lending again. Otherwise, the economy will continue its downturn. This is why we bailed the banks out. That's funny. Donald Trump is literally running Wall Street Bets now. That would be.
Wait, hold on. Can you explain that? I'm not quite following.
Is there a way I can share something with you so you can look at it? Can I share it on Telegram so you can look at it?
Well, it wouldn't show up on our podcast then.
Oh, I'm screen sharing.
Oh.
So I'm showing everything I'm looking. I'm screen sharing so that people don't just have to look at me talking to you on the phone. Yeah. So
Okay.
and you look at that.
Telegram.
Donald Trump Jr. pointed out that the Wall Street Bets logo does look like Donald Trump. Yeah, he definitely does. That would be awesome if he was running the guy behind Wall Street Bets. Oh man. Maybe Dan Scavino is what Ghost Ezra said.
Or what?
He thinks maybe Dan Scavino, the White House advisor, or I think it was like, I forgot who it was. Press secretary, I don't remember. He's important in the Q thing. What is that?
Yeah, I saw this before, but I don't get it. What is it saying? I see that it's a 9-year delta, but what does it have to do with it?
It was the very day that the Wall Street Bets Reddit was founded, was created.
And
So they're saying like it coincides with the philosophy of Donald Trump's tweet there.
so Wall Street Bets was created on January 31st, 2012.
Yeah, and that exact tweet, yeah, is very
But what does banks lending again have to do with this short sale stuff?
well, maybe not that part, but the second half where he said, "This is why we bailed the banks out." You know, it's just saying like power to the people, lend to the people.
Okay.
Full white hat control at this point, says Ghost Ezra. You know we win this by a mile, right? Not even close.
Right. Well, I
So
hope he's
I'm the hopium dealer right now. 17% hopium. That's me. I'm a 17%er. Yeah, somebody pointed out, and he's backing up this. Ghost Ezra is backing up this or reinforcing this idea that we should just all buy silver and pump the silver market and then demand, so buy digital silver and then you can demand to have the physical asset sent to you. So that's pretty awesome because I have a bunch of silver and gold as well.
Dude, CNN is doing a whole 1-hour special tonight on Q.
Oh wow. Can you
I
share
wonder
on
what they're
Telegram?
gonna say.
Can you share stuff on Telegram so I can show it on the screen?
I don't know how to do that.
Just like click
It's
the
on
little
Ghost
flag.
Ezra's page.
Huh?
It's on
Oh,
Ghost
okay.
Ezra from today, 4:11 p.m.
Okay, I'm not there yet. Yeah, what is with the scaffolding? What do you think of the scaffolding? Is that a what in the world is it? It's got all kinds of weird stuff on it. What in the heck? What are they building? Is it a gallows? You know what I'm talking about, Danny? Don't get so distracted. I need you to talk to me too. Don't get so distracted.
I know, I see it, but I don't know what it is.
The scaffolding that is standing in, that is currently like across the White House lawn in front of it. They say it's a gallows for military tribunals.
Well, what is the official story about it?
I don't know. Can you do some research? I have no idea. I've never Yeah, you want me to just Google it? See what Google says?
Okay. By the way, I'm at 42%, so I gotta go soon. This
42,
is running
you
out
have plenty of
quickly.
room. What is the structure in front of the White House? Yeah. There's no answer. Anti-climb wall? That can't be it. Gallows. I'm gonna say gallows. Noose appears near Capitol. No, they're just talking about rioters and protesters building gallows and, and stuff. And like small gallows. What is the thing? What is the scaffolding? Is that a good word for it? In front of the White House. It doesn't say. Let's go more recent. No, this is weird. This is so strange. There is no official story. Military tribunals, White House, in front of White House. Front of White House. Snopes. PolitiFact, of course, debunks it. See if they say anything about it. Do you think that Biden's executive orders are actually happening?
I don't know. Somebody said that they are showing up on the register.
I've seen them on the register, but then some people were saying that was actually Donald Trump's executive orders. Yeah,
I don't know.
the number doesn't match. That's for sure. I remember checking after he made like 20 or 25, and there were only 9 there. So maybe they're delayed. That's what some people say. No.
I don't know.
What do you think about the dark, you know, the White House going dark?
It's weird.
Is it real?
There's definitely something going on, but the problem is the something could be designed that way just to make us think that something's going on. Like there's definitely a plan. I've been saying this from the beginning. There's definitely a plan, but the plan might be to make us think that there's a plan. So he makes the White House go dark. He makes all these weird anomalies because it's designed to make us think that there is a plan so that we can remain complacent.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. So it's like just the counter and the co-intel. I got it.
Counterintelligence.
Yeah.
Man, I feel so like mature and special using that term. It's like I feel like I'm in like a military operation. I'm like counterintelligence.
Or co-intel pro is what I like to call it. Yeah.
I'm important.
You know, it would have been even better. I feel you. It would have been even better if he was going to be the 17th president of the United States. That would have been epic.
Well, 19 is already a number that strikes fear into the hearts of the sheeple.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Come on, you can do this, Rob. 19. 19.
Oh, yeah, good point. That's great. COVID-19.
All they need now is like a Russian with the name like Vladimir Kovitsky.
Oh, I thought, you know what? It's not called that anymore. It's called the Politi-cold. So I was a little worried earlier that I had the Politi-cold. I was like, well, actually, my daughter has a little bit of a fever, and I asked my wife, I was like, do you think it's just like a flu, or is it the Politi-cold? Because that's all it is. It's a politicized cold.
It's a cold with a PR team.
It's a cold that changes things for people. It makes the world more equitable and safe. Creates momentum for the Great Reset. And it just sort of gets you to dig down, inspires you to dig down and find your better self. In this together, Danny. We're in this together. The left and the right unite. Unite the left and right and fight.
And with that, I think I gotta go soon. So,
Okay.
any closing thoughts? I'll bring back my Scottish accent for a bit, just for the end.
Oh,
So,
you can be Scottish, and I'll be Irish.
So did we come to any kind of consensus about any of that?
Oh no, there's no way your people and my people ever going to get along. It's not going to happen.
Aye, you're a bloody capitalist. I'm a bloody Marxist, except I don't really follow Marx. I just use my own logic. But that's beside the point.
You don't even need a mask. All you've got your bagpipes on all the time. You breathe in and out. It's disgusting.
I know. How dare anybody breathe? Breathing's a crime now.
Well, in Scotland, we need to breathe the high winds. On the highlands, we've got wind, and we need our breath. A little mask ain't gonna hurt nothing.
High winds.
In
If
the
there's a high wind blowing through your fucking cunt, there is.
Whoa. This is a family program, Daniel.
I know, but I said it
the-
in a said it in an accent they don't know. The children don't know what I'm saying. They didn't understand it.
Right. All right, here's what I'll end on. I was watching Ninja Turtles with my daughter, which you and I were gonna watch, but we never did. That was a date night that never happened before you moved to Florida.
Too many references to pizza.
I know, but it's such a good movie. It's like one of my favorite, no joke, one of my favorite movies of all time. But April O'Neil, she's really like the chief of police is like her arch nemesis in the beginning, and the mayor, wants to get her fired because she's just always pushing their buttons and saying they're not investigating the Foot Clan. They're not investigating this organized crime syndicate headed by Shredder. And so there's a scene where she's in the office and she gets the chief all riled up because she's like the fiery reporter and he's like the institutional, like patriarchal figure who doesn't want to be bothered by the press. And so he says, like, are you trying to tell me how to do my job? And then he kicks her out of her office. And she comes out and like the janitor guy is there and he's on her side, of course. And he's like 107, a new record. Like 1 minute, 7 seconds. Yeah, he said 107. 107, a new record, like that.
Maybe that's where he got the number from.
Right. Is that where you're from, Juan?
He watched that movie and he decided or maybe the whole to make that his name.
The whole 17 thing is from Ninja Turtles, maybe 107.
Sure.
So there's your thought for the day. But it is a compelling story because they show that the chief of police is not prosecuting the Foot Clan and not trying to hunt them down. But you do see Danny his name is Danny, the son of the reporter boss. And his name is Charles. And Charles's son is named Danny, and he's in the Foot Clan. He's in like the lower levels of the Foot Clan, which is just pickpocketing. And there's this hilarious scene at the beginning where he hands Shredder, like behind him, he hands Shredder a wallet that he just passed. Like Shredder's on the street just kind of picking up like regular pickpocket stuff. But anyway, what was compelling to me is that Danny was taken in by the chief of police, and then the chief of police lets him go, and then he calls Charles, who's April's boss, and he says, Charles, you know, if you don't fire this broad, then we're gonna, you know, prosecute your son. So it was like organized crime and using blackmail. You know, they had lured this kid into their operation. My guess is to get leverage on the media. So it's showing that the corrupt law enforcement controls the media through children. So this movie is, I mean, all movies are very revelatory of the method.
Which one is this? The original Ninja Turtles?
The original Ninja Turtles movie, yeah. So he was controlling, it was corrupt law enforcement controlling the media through children. That's exactly what we're dealing with. That's exactly what we're dealing with. So anyway, there you go.
Very, very good eye. Okay, with that, we should wrap it up. So thank
Okay,
you for watching the left, right pair, guys.
Okay, bruv. You have a good day then.
Oi. Oi.
Bye.
Oi.